Hi there, Hatter.
Hi there. Is this the Mad Hatter?
This is Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter, it's James Shaman from the Fox.
Well, hello, James. What's happening?
Well, we're celebrating today.
And what is that what we're celebrating?
Well, I think today, isn't it today, the 35th anniversary of this radio station going on the air?
You got that right. It is the 35th anniversary.
Kind of crazy, isn't it?
It is. I'd have been more in the believability factor if you said something like 7 or 8 years.
Time does fly when you're having fun, that's for sure. I want to thank you for taking a couple of minutes out to talk to me about the history of the radio station. I really do appreciate this.
Okay.
So fill me in a little bit. What made you want to start this whole beast?
Well, I was up in Minnesota working for a radio station that I'd worked for about 5 years. It was going broke, and we kind of turned it around. And then I got fired. So I decided, well, I'm not going to do this for anybody again. I want to do it for myself. So I started looking around at where I could put a radio station in, and I happened to find a location in Clear Lake and several other places. And I kind of like Clear Lake, Mason City, so I applied to the FCC for a license. It took a year or so, and I got the license, and then I went to the banks and lied to them about, all the things that were necessary that I could handle, and they gave me the money, and we built a radio station.
Well, that's fantastic, man, and we're just thrilled that the legacy continues here, and I've been chatting a lot with Bruce Wasenius the last couple of months just about the history, and he's told me some rather interesting stories about some of your little shenanigans you used to pull in the mornings.
Yeah, well, Bruce was one of the first guys I hired. Old Loose Bruce, we called him, and he was quite a celebrity himself. That was a great find when I got to Bruce. He had the nighttime shift, and he had quite a following there, and so that was a good. But we had a lot of characters, and we were in the radio business not necessarily for the money. We were in the business. All the guys that I hired were near-to-well people like myself that were just having fun in radio, and that's what we did. We came to Clear Lake, Mason City, in that area up there, and we had a heck of a lot of fun, and I think a lot of the people had fun with us.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you get into radio for the money and you're on the air, you're doing the wrong thing, aren't you?
Yeah, you better go to work for Walmart if you're looking for security and money.
I know. The best joke I've ever heard is that in radio they pay us big bucks. They're 8.5 by 11. They're just so big you can't spend them anywhere.
That's it. Well, at one time radio was, you could make some big money in radio, but today you got to either love it or get out. One of the two.
There you go. So let's just talk a little bit about some of Bruce was telling me a story not that long ago about you making a phone call and trying to get a hold of Idi Amin, of all people.
Well, I used to call Idi Amin every morning. That was one of my staples, to call him every morning. I talked to somebody over there in his land there, or one of his right-hand people, but that was a morning thing that we did every morning, and that worked out quite well. It was quite interesting because Idi Amin was quite a character in those days.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I can only imagine. I'd love to hear some of those tapes if you might have to have some of those still.
Yeah, well, one of the ones that most people bring up when I'm up there is I called the United States Navy. They were selling an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch. I was going to bring that up, too. Bruce said that was probably his all-time favorite when you were trying to purchase a decommissioned aircraft carrier.
Yeah, and that was fun. I enjoy listening to that tape every once in a while myself. I was quite amazed that I talked to that guy for over a half an hour on buying that thing, and he didn't catch on that I was kidding him until the last couple of minutes. It was really funny.
Could you imagine trying to put an aircraft carrier in Clear Lake? My goodness, that would have been an interesting sight.
Well, that's what he thought too. He was wondering how I got it up there. But finally, I just told him, why don't we just cut the thing up in pieces and number it and send it UPS? I'll super glue it back together. And that's when he finally finally caught on to us kidding around with them.
That is absolutely perfect, just perfect. Yeah. Now, of course, one of the other things that that you did and continues to the day is of course the big tribute that takes place each and every year at the Surf Ballroom, and I know that you were a pivotal point in that, and it's just awesome that continues.
Well, that's something I'm quite proud of. That's going on now, and very successful for Clear Lake, Mason City. That whole area up there, I think, continues to reap benefits from that. It brings in a lot of money every year, and I'm kind of proud of the fact that I was involved in doing that. And along with Bruce, who was working for you, and Brad Johnson, and a few other people that worked for me at that time, we put a lot of effort into that, and we didn't look for it to be that big of a deal, other than 1 year, but it became an event, and it still is a big event.
Oh, it's a huge event. You get thousands of people coming in from all over the place, coming to kind of celebrate and remember the day the music died, they say, and it's a huge deal for here in North Iowa, and we're just thrilled that it continues so very strongly.
Yeah, well, I got calls from all over the world on that thing, and it did give us some international exposure, and people came from, the first few years. I don't know how it is now. I assume it still is, but we'd have 20, 30 people from England, and we'd have them from Germany and all over the goddamn world, and I'd be on the radio most of the time the last couple of weeks before the concert itself, talking to all over the country on this event. So it really gave a lot of exposure to Iowa during the wintertime.
Yeah, that's great, man. It really is, and it like you said, it still is a huge international, worldwide event, and it's just spectacular that it takes place right here in our very backyard. Well, Matt Hatter, I want to thank you so much for creating this wonderful radio station that I've been able to call my home and my place of employment for the last 5 years, 35 years ago today, and we look forward to just continuing to rock North Iowa.
Well, thanks a lot for continuing to do it up there, and say hello to everybody up in North Central Iowa, and I miss them. That was a great place to live. I loved Clear Lake, Mason City area.
Well, you need to come back and visit sometime. I'd love to have you in studio for a little while.
I'll do it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, have a good day.